All right, it's a pleasure to bring up our next speaker, Corrine Sandler, who is not only an author, but also the CEO of Fresh Intelligence. Today, Corrine is going to be sharing with us insights from her book, Wake Up or Die, talking about the use of intelligence in business strategy. Corrine has been on the W100, which is the top 100 women entrepreneurs list for the last 2 years. And in her spare time, she's also a runner and has done 12 half marathons. So let's bring up Corrine.
Thank you, Kerry. Good morning, everyone. It's great to be here in Orlando. I have to say that I have been at the last 3 Confirm It community conferences, and they get better and better and better each year. So to the Confirm It community organizers, great job. It's just been a phenomenal, brilliant conference. So as I said, I am here to talk to you today about my new book, Wake Up or Die, and really I've got just 25 minutes to take you on a journey on quite a dogmatic thought process that I like to go through. And I'll start off by asking you one very simple question. And that is, do you know how to win today? And a lot of you are sitting there and saying, absolutely I do. I have my strategic plan, and I have my vision, and I have the best senior executive team, and I have all the data and all the intelligence, etc. But there's only one way to truly break through and truly win in this highly competitive world of business that we are living in today. And that is simply to be one of a kind. That is simply to be the only one who does what you do. And every single one of you are sitting here today and saying, well, not everyone can do what I do, or not everyone can do what my organization does. But are you truly one of a kind? Are you truly world-class, best in class, that there's no other competitor out there that can do what you do? Because if you are, you can only but win. And I'm going to show you today how to do that and give you some great examples of companies that have done that. And of course have done that through the use of intelligence. We're in the greatest industry in the world because nobody can move ahead without data, insights, and intel today. So before I start, I'll tell you a little bit about myself and about why I think I have the right to stand up here and talk to you today. You don't have to listen to me, but hopefully you'll take some kind of key nugget, motivation, inspiration out of the next 20 minutes. So I was born in Johannesburg, South Africa. I won't tell you when, and grew up during the apartheid regime, which had quite an impact on my life. And about 20 years ago, swam across the ocean all the way to Toronto, where I now reside with my 4 kids and my beautiful golden retriever, Sky. So the impact of my life in growing up during the apartheid regime in Johannesburg, which is now known as Gauteng. For those of you who don't know much about it, but we were under major, as a teenager, we were under major extreme international sanctions. I had very little access to international news media, books, knowledge, newspapers. We grew up very much in a cocoon. I never had TV till I was 10 years old. And then when we did get TV, I think we had 2 channels for a couple of years. So really very isolated. And during that time, there was a book that I used to read. And the book was The Art of War by Sun Tzu. And I'm hoping a lot of you here today have read this book. There's many transcribes of this book. Probably one of the most phenomenal readings you will ever read. And I read this over and over again. And it's a book about how to win when you're at war. And I'll show you how we can apply this today. And Sun Tzu, who was, as I said, a 2,000-year-old Chinese philosopher, his philosophy in The Art of War is really about something quite simple. And that is that no war in the world has been won without intelligence, and never will. And let me tell you something today. We are living in a war. We as organizations, as companies, are all vying for increasing market share, for revenue, for increasing profits, for the best talent. It's a war out there. And if we apply these ancient military tactics in a modern economic business setting, we can only but win. And that is putting intelligence first and foremost in our organization. The same way President Obama runs America. The first thing he does when he walks into his Oval Office in the morning is he speaks to his Central Intelligence Officer, who gives him the state of the nation from an intelligence perspective. CEOs should not be running companies. CIOs should be running companies. Chief Insights Officers, Chief Intelligence Officers. I write a lot about it in my book. So that's what I'm going to talk to you today about, and that really is what my book is about. I love this slide. We talk about creation. And what I want to talk about here is the only way, and I want you to write this down. I want you to remember this, okay? And if there's one thing you take away, it's this slide. The only way to create, the only way to corner a niche, I should say, the only way to corner a niche is to create it. The only way to corner a niche is to create it. So the wheel was invented, I think it was 3500 BC. The first wheel, I think, was founded thousands of years ago in Mesopotamia. But it took many, many, many years later for us to come up with some really unique, disruptive innovation type of thing, which I'll show you in a minute, that every single one of us here today use, can't imagine our life without, and we'll be using when we get on our plane tonight to fly home, etc., etc. Many, many inventions. The wheel has spurned, great, great innovations. But something disruptive happened based on the wheel only, 30 or 40 years ago. Okay. In the 1970s only, this was invented. Someone thought, what if we took wheels and put them on suitcases? A simple idea. They cornered a niche by creating something very, very simple. Disruptive innovation. What the market wants, but does not expect. So in order to innovate, and I love the word innovation, okay, because it's been thrown around there like the word insight and the word strategy. Everyone thinks everything's an innovation. I classify the word innovation as, an innovation is an idea you can act on. You can have the greatest ideas in the world. If you can't act on it, you can't transform, you can't make it actionable, it's not innovation. You have to be able to act on it. But you need great imagination to innovate. You need great thinking. You've got to be out-of-the-box thinking. Different types of philosophies. It's like a baby on an iPad. I put an iPad in front of a little baby, and you see their eyes open, the wow factor. Can you imagine what's going through that head? All the brain cells just absolutely driving major, major innovation and imagination, spurning creativity. That's what we need today. The holy grail of organizational leaders today, the holy grail of any organization today is insights. And an insight is a penetrating truth that leads to actionable changes and transformation within an organization, within a continent, within a country, within a person. That's what an insight is. So let me tell you some great stories of companies, of people, of fascinating industries that have used intelligence today to disrupt. Disruptive innovation. What the market wants but does not expect. If people asked Henry Ford many years ago, what do people say? Like, what do people want? You know what they would have said? Faster horses. Okay, they wouldn't have known about a car. Same thing with Steve Jobs. What do people want? Okay, they would have said smaller Walkmans. No one knew what an iPod was. So let me give you some great stories and some inspirational stories, how we can all think outside the box, how we can all change the world, how we can all become agents of change. So these two guys, Adam Lowry and Eric Ryan, they are the very proud brain parents of the product method. And they radically disrupted and changed the cleaning category in the world today, literally globally. So they were college students, and they were exposed to harmful, toxic cleaning ingredients and chemicals within the cleaning products. And they thought there's got to be a better way for us to clean our dorm without getting sick from these toxic cleaning ingredients. So they had an idea. And their idea was to make non-toxic cleaning ingredients. Disruptive, innovation? Not really, but okay, good idea, right? Not a bad idea. It was only when they started to actually go out there and do some research and collect intelligence and do some qualitative, they went into people's homes, they spoke to their parents. They never had much money, but they collected as much insights and research that they could, that they realized one very fundamental truth. And think about this. When somebody comes to your home, you're having people for dinner, what's the first thing you do, right? You tidy up, you clean up. Clean everywhere, and then you take all the cleaning ingredients and the soaps and all the chemical stuff and you throw it under, open the cupboard and you tuck it all away. And they were like, well, what if you didn't have to do that? What if we produced soaps and cleaning material in beautiful packaging that people would be proud to display? And so Method, the company, was born. Now that is disruptive innovation. Packaging. They did what S.C. Johnson, what Procter & Gamble, what Unilever, some of the greatest companies in the world with the biggest budgets in the world, were unable to do. And then they got some great licensing, and they produced wonderful Disney characters of bottles, and they were listed in every single Target across North America, and then they were listed on the Inc. 500 fastest growing companies in the world, and then someone came along and bought them for $70 million. Not bad. Great, great, great. Disruptive innovation. That's the art of intelligent war. They put intelligence first. They found an insight, they acted on it, and they transformed an industry. Great story, I love it. Let me tell you another one of my favorites, the David and Goliath story. I write a lot about this in my book, Wake Up or Die. And love the story, because this is a guy that's become a personal friend of mine. So think about, I think I went too fast, too quickly. Can I go back? No, okay. Think about one industry, which I've just probably given away now, but let's take the publishing industry, for instance. This is an industry that if you had to think about how can we disruptively innovate the publishing industry, impossible. A dying industry. Publishers don't know what to do. There are book retailers that are closing and going bankrupt on a daily basis. There are more people, crazy people like me, writing books. I think a new book is launched every second or something, okay? Like, absolutely, the margins on books are so tight. You can buy, ebooks in China now for like, $2. It's just the worst possible industry to ever get into or ever try and innovate or disrupt. And of course, the top six, really control it, which is Penguin, Random House, HarperCollins, Hachette, Macmillan, Simon & Schuster. So what do? They think, oh, we're going to innovate, okay? We're going to be different. Penguin and Random House, oh, we're going to merge. That's going to give us more buying power, greater authors. I mean, that's not innovation. That's not pushing boundaries. That's not disrupting our industry. But along came Mr. Alan Lau, and I'll tell you the funny story. So how I met Alan. I was sitting at an event pretty much like today, and one speaker after the next speaker, and they're all talking about technology, and I get very bored when people talk about just technology, because technology is not a disruptive innovation. It helps lead to disruptive innovation. And there's this guy sitting there, and I can say this about him because I love him, and absolute revenge of the nerds type guy, seriously, pocket protector and all, okay? And I'm like, oh, here comes the next techie speaker, like I'm going to switch off. And he gets up and he starts to talk, and I'm like, wow. This is incredible what this guy has done. Alan Lau created Wattpad, the digital age of storytelling. It's the largest online community for authors to publish their work and for readers to read work. He disrupted an industry that was not able to be disrupted. This was recently in a newspaper, I think it was in the New York Times or Wall Street Journal, one of them, okay, that they quoted Alan Lau. $46 million. One of his biggest investors is Jerry Yang, the founder of Yahoo. Great guy. Simple idea, but disrupted, created white space through intelligence, occupied it, and he now holds it. He invented the digital age of storytelling, disruptive innovation. So what's the common thread? You look at Alan Lau, Wattpad, should all go on there and have a look at it. And you look at the Method Boys. there's a common thread, and I'm not going to have enough time to go into detail about it, but that common thread is what I refer to in my book called the Boltz theory. B-O-L-T-S, the Boltz theory. And it's a very, very simple theory that if you follow, you can, without a doubt, disruptively innovate today and be the only one that does what you do and corner a niche by creating it. B stands for breakthrough. You need to break through. And the only way to break through is to have an insight, a real, true, penetrating thought that can transform an idea. Breakthrough. Okay, I'll tell you more details in my book in terms of how to do this, and you'll be able to get a copy. O stands for overcome fear. The biggest problem we have in organizations today not is data intelligence just siloed, but that even when we get the intelligence, we're always scared to act on it. Okay, overcome fear. Push boundaries. I'll use the example, I think, I don't know if Bruce is still here, but Bruce used an example of, are you here, Bruce? He left. No, I think he's walked out. But Bruce used the example of Wayne Gretzky. And by the way, I'm a Habs fan, and those Habs better beat the Bruins after what the Bruins did to our Toronto Leafs last year. Wayne Gretzky said, "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take." I love that quote from him. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Overcome fear. Lenses off. Take the lenses off. Stop looking at a singular vision. Think big is the next one. Think big. And S stands for seize. Seize it. Seize the opportunity. Go with it. Don't be scared. So my Boltz theory, very, very, very simply, helps you to actually align yourself with specific tasks to overcome a number of different incidences so that you can, without a doubt, innovate, but innovate through disruptive innovation. Disruptive innovation, again, is what the market wants but does not expect. Okay, I have a question for you. And I want to show you how simple innovation can be and how simple you can really, transform industries and categories and food. So does anyone know what is or what was or the most disruptive innovation in the last 30 years in the food industry? Does anyone want to throw out some ideas? Anyone? Something slaughterhouse? Slaughterhouse? No. But GMO? No. Microwave, I get that all the time. I was waiting for someone to say microwave, fast food all the time. No. Bottled water? No. Liquid nitrogen? No. Oh my gosh, seriously, baby carrots. Baby carrots single-handedly turned around the fresh produce of supermarkets by triple-digit growth. Okay? All of a sudden, in North America, the consumption of this beta-carotene vegetable tripled. And how did this happen? Mike Gura is a great story, okay? He was a carrot farmer. And what he did, he used to throw out 400 tons of carrots a day, deformed carrots that weren't good enough to get onto the supermarket shelf. And he was just playing around with a bean cutter, an industrial bean cutter. And all of a sudden, the baby carrot was born. But that wasn't just the innovation. The innovation came when he started to do a bit of research and intelligence gathering and insight. And it was, people wanted to go to a supermarket and just grab a bag of baby carrots. They didn't want to have to actually find the bag and put the baby carrots in. So they packaged baby carrots. Fresh produce growth was incredible, even not just within the baby carrots or the carrots, but all other fresh produce, because people were actually now walking towards that to grab their bag of baby carrots. Incredible story. Simple. So, the Boltz theory. Break through, overcome fear, take the lenses off, think deep, and seize the opportunity. You don't have to be big. You don't have to have major, mega million-dollar budgets to invest in research and intelligence and to think, and use the Boltz theory. I mean, YouTube was a tiny, every company starts small, remember that. YouTube was a small little company run by a few guys that said, we need to find a better way to deliver video content to our friends because sending it via email was just taking up too much space in our inbox. They were up against Google Video, the Google brand. Okay, obviously, Google bought them multi-million dollars a couple of years afterwards. So everyone starts small. But the problem is that we are so tunneled vision in our learning. And we go to school, and our kids go to school, and what do we teach our kids? Geography, history, math, biology. When you finish school, go to university, get your MBA, go get a job. Be quiet, don't disrupt, be good, don't think too much outside the box, no disruptors allowed, okay? That's unfortunately society, it dictates that to us, okay? But we need to be different. We need to be able to think outside the box. We need to be able to go out and wear orange socks, okay? We need to think outside our comfort zone. We need to break through walls, go under, go over. Because that's the only way we are going to break through and disruptively innovate and become true game changers, become one of a kind, become the best world class in the world, become best in class, and be the only one that does what you do. So my book, Wake Up or Die, is available. I'll be signing copies and answering any questions. Okay, I speak a lot more about this. And I actually give you examples, ground game examples, of how companies have used these military tactics and have won. Quite a dogmatic approach, I know, and it basically talks about business battles are won with foresight. You either have it or you don't. You need foresight, and you need to be able to act on that foresight. So I'm hoping now you now know how to win. Because you have to be the only one who does what you do, or you will die. You will not be here in the future, because somebody will capitalize on being one of a kind. Okay. Thank you.